Welcome to Spirit Outspoken, where we dive deep into the realms of spirituality, healing, and the beautiful chaos we call life.
From ancient traditions to modern practices, we are going to explore it all. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned seeker, you're guaranteed to find something that inspires, challenges, and intrigues you here.
So grab your favorite beverage, find a cozy spot to curl up, and join us for Spirit Outspoken. Welcome back to another episode of Spirit Outspoken. Jasa and I are excited to dive into chakras, part 2 today.
Are we excited?
What are your thoughts today? As you know from our last episode, Jasa and I are going to reveal and discuss our own chakra test results. And we hope that you did the test yourself at home so you can follow along. But yeah, we're going to dive in and share the areas in our own life where maybe we're overactive or underactive, and then talk about ways that we can help balance and make the energy flow better within our own body.
Yes. And honestly, I feel better because when I first saw the test results, I was like, these people are rude and I feel like you're attacking me. But I'm realizing that it's on a scale, right?
Yes.
What's the scale?
So the percentages go from a negative 100% to a positive 100%.
So like in between is 0.
Mm-hmm. But this is what doesn't make sense to me, because I have one that is at a 0 and it says it's underactive. So I don't know where the tipping point is.
Okay.
I would think that 0 would be kind of right
in
where
the middle.
You want to be.
All right. Well, then I would say focus more on the description of it being closed or underactive.
Yes. What you want them to say, ideally, is open.
Is open, right.
Yep. And they will break it down and show you your percentage and whether it's underactive, open, or overactive.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we gonna start at the bottom and work our way up?
Yeah, we will start at the bottom. So why don't you go first?
Okay. Well, no surprise here, as I shared my story last week, that I have definitely dealt with anxiety over the years. I have an underactive root chakra.
I do too.
Do you?
Oh, definitely. And like the thing is that totally connects with me because I do struggle with anxiety.
Yeah,
for sure. The way that I really experience it, though, is I'm never in my body.
Yes.
I never feel grounded. My brain moves at 100 miles an hour. It's hard to describe that. If you're not somebody that's grounded and you're in your head all the time, you'll know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I will say too, it's amazing how much going for a hike or being in nature does 100%. For me.
Yes.
So I feel like a certain level of calm and peace that I really never feel unless I'm in nature. So that's my root chakra being like, hello, dum-dum, you need to be more grounded.
Nature is the ultimate reset.
Yes.
You know, it is so calming. I also think this is why meditation has really resonated with me.
Yeah.
Because it's forced me to get back into my physical form and grounding in my body, which I just don't take enough time to do.
No, definitely. And it's like, I just recently, I'm kind of struggling with meditation because I will try to lay down and meditate and my body is literally like, nope. Cause I have to keep moving.
Yeah. So Ryan does best moving.
Oh, doing a moving meditation. I should do a walking meditation.
Listening to something. Yeah. Or like exercise could be another great way to get back into your body. So for my husband, his workout is a fabulous way for him to be connected with his physical form.
I think that's really
good
idea.
For him.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. But it sounds like you want me to work out and that sounds like a lot of work. So thank you so much for your suggestion.
I'll go out into my forest bathing.
Yeah. But you know, for real though, in the summer, I very deliberately will take my shoes off anytime I can and just stand in the grass.
Yes.
I make a point of that.
For you.
Yeah. It feels so good. Oh, and also side note, have you seen those grounding mats, those grounding sheets for your bed?
One.
I do too. I need to get the full bed one though, because I only have like a little like loincloth one. It's like so small. And I was like, it just, by the end of the night, it's like rolled up in a ball somewhere else.
See, I just have one under my office desk and I keep my feet on it during the day.
Oh, is it like a rubber mat? Mine's like a sheet. Like it's like material of a sheet.
I want to get the sheet.
I need the full bed. Get the full bed one though. But you plug it in to the grounding outlet and that picks up on the frequency from the ground.
So it's like you're sleeping outside on the Earth's floor.
Exactly. And there's tons of research
Oh,
about
yeah.
reducing inflammation, all of that. I need to get my little loincloth back in order.
Please stop saying that.
I know, it makes me uncomfortable too.
So next we have sacral, which is all about creativity, pleasure, and sexuality.
Yes.
So how are you on this?
Well,
aspect?
this is what's weird because it's like I'm right in the middle,
Okay.
but it says underactive. So
But
like
you don't feel like that
I
truly
really
resonates.
don't because
Yeah.
I think it was at one point,
Yeah.
but now I feel like I've writing and the podcast
Oh,
and
yeah.
the sacral floodgates are open. So I don't know. I don't really totally
Resonate with that.
know. So I don't know. Somewhere in the middle. How about you?
Mine says open. I'm at 25%.
Okay.
And I would agree with that.
Yeah,
feel-
I would too. You're
Yeah.
super creative.
Yeah.
The next one is, oh God.
Solar plexus. What did you score? I'm just, as someone who has an overactive solar plexus, what was your percentage?
If you must ask, it was 75%.
Out of 100 people. Out of 100.
It's very strong.
Mine's at 12%, but I am also underactive in this area.
But see,
I don't feel that as much. But,
yeah. Yeah.
but maybe. Certain things, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Like as a reminder, it's around self-confidence, right?
Yeah.
It's around your self-esteem and your personal power.
I think maybe the personal power piece for me can sometimes come into play.
Okay. That's fair.
Trusting myself.
Trusting your gut instinct.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only thing I listen to. I don't listen to anybody else. I just listen to my gut, which maybe is the problem.
Serves you well.
Yeah. The symptoms of overactivity that totally resonate with me for sure. The restlessness. I was just talking about that. The inability to relax.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm getting a massage, it needs to be like borderline masochism. Is that where you're trying to hurt somebody else?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me to relax, because it's like I almost have to feel pain to get out of my head, to be like, oh, this is such an extreme feeling on my body. I can't think about anything else.
I can no longer think about.
Yeah. And I'm not thinking about negative things.
No.
It's just my brain goes at 1,000 miles an hour. So like the overactivity, the restlessness, and the burnout from high ambition, like that. Yeah, that connects with me, I would say.
That's why I also don't think your sacral is blocked, because you have so many creative ideas.
I don't think it's blocked either.
Yeah.
Or under or whatever.
Ability to generate ideas is like,
I know.
You know?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. Who knows?
okay.
Moving on up. Okay, so now we're at the heart chakra.
Yes.
So this one, again, love, compassion, and forgiveness. Where's yours at?
Mine's open at 62%.
Mine's overactive at 75%.
Okay.
And, you know, it kind of makes sense to me. I'm taking care of a child.
I was going to say,
you
with
know?
everything going on.
Yeah. And what's really interesting too is anybody who's familiar with the Enneagram, I was like a hard 3 for forever. And after my son was diagnosed, I retook the test and now I'm like a 3-wing 2, which is really different than the 3. So like the 3 is like achiever, core through and through achiever. And then 2 is very different from the achiever. It's the helper.
Mm-hmm.
So now being a 3-wing 2, it's like those influences of helping and taking care of and nurturing are really coming forward in my life.
Yeah.
Sometimes to my own detriment right now, right? Obviously, I'm not always prioritizing myself when my child's going through treatment. So this makes sense to me.
Yeah. I definitely think in my younger years, I had an overactive heart chakra. I was felt very responsible for other people's emotions, right? That was the people pleasing that I was talking about.
That was the people,
like,
yes.
Making sure everybody's happy, making sure I'm not offending or making anybody upset.
Yes.
So
did you ever feel like you were possessive in your relationships or ever jealous?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I was younger.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like my heart chakra has opened up more because I just... knowing who I am now versus not, I think mine was probably more under than over when I was younger.
A little more guarded.
Yeah. And like, I think so. I was always really open, but I would never get jealous. Well, that's not true.
Do tell.
Well, it's hard 'cause I've been with Charlie for 20 years. So it's remembering any relationship before then. But I think it wasn't until I felt safe that I didn't feel jealous.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference.
That is the difference.
Thanks for working through that with me.
Love it.
Wow.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, throat chakra.
Okay, so this is super interesting. So forever I've had an underactive throat chakra.
Yeah, what is it now?
And now it's overactive, but not by much, 69%. So that's
man.
Or is that high?
No, mine's 88.
I am not
that surprised. I mean, I'm a Gemini. Like, you guys, like, Geminis love to talk. I was reading something really funny. It was like really complimentary of Geminis, and half my chart sits in Gemini. So I'm like the most Gemini person you're ever going to meet in your life. And it was really funny. It was all of these nice things. And then it was like, what you lack in peace and quiet with the Gemini around, you gain in spades and all of these other things. And I was like, damn, if that's not true. But listen, I'm going to say this. Spirit Outspoken needs 2 co-hosts with overactive throat chakras because we've got a lot to say.
That's right.
Okay.
And it'd be a pretty boring podcast if we sat here saying nothing.
Yeah. If my throat chakra was balanced, you guys would be falling asleep. Okay. I wouldn't be talking about whips and chains and handcuffs. I digress. So anyway, I just think that I'm not going to apologize for that one.
Good for you.
I'm not going to feel bad about it. I am who I am.
I would expect no less from someone with a 75% solar plexus.
I will try to stop finishing people's sentences, though. I will try to do that. That I'm like, Jason, stop it. Like, if there's like a slow talker, I literally am like, can I help you finish your sentence, please? Like, I struggle. I
get that, though. I know. You're just so excited to
I'm really
chit-chat,
excited.
You know?
I was like, we need to keep this conversation flowing.
Yeah.
We have lots to talk about.
Yeah. Got to talk fast. Keep up.
It's a lot of ground to cover.
Limited time.
Okay. Third eye. Where you at?
Open. Where's yours?
Mine's also open.
Hey.
I know. I'm really happy about that. Because that connects with me big time. What really kind of started me down this whole spiritual rabbit hole was having these downloads or pings and knowing things about people that I also felt compelled to tell them.
Yeah.
And it was usually, I felt like I was sort of sent to tell people something to give them hope and to keep going. And a lot of that translated into people that were trying to get pregnant. And it would be for no reason, out of the blue. And it was such a strong knowing, like I was saying before, like the sky is blue.
Yeah.
But also an urge to tell them. So it could be people that I haven't spoken to in 15 years that I had to reach out to on Instagram, or it could be a close friend. But that's what started me down this path, because I was like, wait a minute, this is not a coincidence anymore. This keeps happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's hitting me over the head to pay attention to it. And that's the other reason why I feel like I've become so much more open-minded, because I'm very secure in my Christian faith and my beliefs. And yet I also am recognizing I have this ability, or I'm having this intuition, and some Christians call it the spirit of discernment.
Yes.
So call it intuition, the spirit of discernment, call it the Holy Spirit, call it whatever you want. I don't care. Yeah. But I was very intrigued by it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It makes sense. It's open.
I think that's so cool. And I agree 100% that it makes total sense.
Yeah, it does. What about the crown chakra?
My crown is open.
Mine is too.
Yeah.
Mine is too. Which makes me really happy, because I got the feedback that my solar plexus and my throat chakra were so strong, and I really wasn't fostering or nourishing the crown chakra energy center. And I remember the person told me at the time, they're like, well, maybe do some meditations to open your crown chakra. And I didn't really focus on deliberately opening the crown chakra, but just naturally following these pings or downloads, or be more intentional about it, naturally, realign some energy there.
Yeah. Pay attention. I mean, to everyone listening, pay attention to those little nudges.
Yes.
Because everyone does receive the information so differently, but there's something about it that will draw your attention to it. Don't you find that? Like for me, it was the visualizing, the dreams, or it's almost, there's something different or unique about this that I feel called to pay attention to. That's different.
Ask for signs, you guys.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And just get ready.
Yeah. Ask for signs and be specific. I would say start small. I feel like angel numbers are a big one for people, because they will just have some sort of like notice on their own. Oh, I see 111 all the time, or 1111 all the time, or 222. And it's not just on clocks, right? That's the most common place that we see numbers. But if you start seeing on receipts or license plates or addresses. So Anyhow, ask and you shall receive. Like the first part is saying like, hey, I'm open, I'm curious, and man, buckle up. Like it is fun.
Fun and so cool. And to the point where our husbands, initially, I think when we were starting to talk about this stuff together and gab about it and everything, sometimes they'd be like, oh, okay, now you just notice because you're looking for it. Which maybe, right? Yeah. However, so many synchronicities will start to happen that you cannot explain away as just this or that or the other. And don't you think both Charlie and Ryan have been like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but clearly something is. Well, there's no way that this is all lining up.
100%. I'll give you a good example. So shortly after my son was diagnosed, it was probably, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after he was diagnosed. So we were home, and whenever we were looking out the window, we would see this giant white crane come into the pond, and it would just soar by our house and land. And it got to the point where it just kept happening and happening and happening and happening. Charlie would be like, our crane's back. And you also get this like little nudge of this is significant somehow. It keeps happening. Your spirit is picking up that there's a message that's trying to come through. So finally I looked up what a white crane was. And white cranes stand for health, healing, and longevity.
Just makes me want to cry.
I remember I burst into tears when I read that. And when you think about it, like, I never made this association. So in the Japanese culture, they make cranes upon paper cranes for people that are sick and for people that need healing, because it's a symbolism of the things that I outlined. So it kept happening. And throughout our journey, we would always see cranes, and it wasn't always the bird, right? We were coming home from the hospital, and it was late last fall. And I remember thinking, I really miss our cranes. They always kind of gave me a little boost.
Sure.
They gave me a little pick me up. Whenever I would see them, I would think, oh, my angels are here, and they're going to help my son have a long life and to get through his healing. And I always took it as a strong message. I kid you not. We came home, and there was a little small package on our front steps, and we opened it, and there were 2 porcelain white cranes that someone had dropped off just that day. And it was literally like maybe 30 or 45 minutes that I had that thought of like, man, this was a really tough day at clinic and really tough day at the hospital. I wish they were here. And God still managed to get me those cranes, even though all of them had gone south for the winter. And another thing that was really cool was when we were in Florida, around the time that I always say, like, my son came back to us, you know, like he was so sick and just so beaten down by chemo that his personality had changed. And like, I say beaten down, like this kid was still beasting through life, you guys, but like it had literally changed his personality.
Yeah.
And he woke up on January 1st and was literally like back to himself. And I couldn't get enough. It was like intoxicating. We just drank him in. And we were leaving to go back home. And I get a picture from Charlie. And it's my son. And he's standing, I'm not even kidding, like maybe 8 feet from this giant white crane that had soared down and landed right on the dock, like right by where we were staying. And it just was like this amazing thing. And I have story after story after story about this. And it just is one of those things that whenever I see it, I just feel such a tangible presence from God and our angels.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be in a tough situation like us to invite that presence in, but ask God, ask your angels, say, hey, send me a sign. I want to feel more connected. I want more magic in my life, because that's what it feels like. It feels magical.
Yeah. Share the story about the trees around your house.
That was his birthday.
His birthday. I couldn't
gosh.
remember if it was the end of the first phase of treatment.
No,
or
this
what
was
that was
wild. And so here's the thing too, guys. And I think a lot of people connect with birds in terms of spirituality, like cardinals, of being a past. Like
mine is eagles.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to hear about that. So the theory behind birds is that they're hypersensitive to frequencies and energy. They can follow the Earth's magnetic frequencies to get to where they're trying to go. That's how they know exactly where to fly. That's how they find their path, right? So the thought is if there's spiritual frequencies or God or angels that they can easily kind of
manipulate,
use the birds to send you a message. So it was on Roman's birthday. You guys, this was insane. all day, we had hundreds, if not thousands of birds coming to our tree all day. Flocks of birds. There would be like another species of birds we've never seen before. Another one, another one, another one. And my husband and I literally, we couldn't do anything that day. We were just sitting in the living room being like, what is happening? It was unbelievable. And we actually went out for a walk and we were looking around at other trees to be like, are we getting like, is there an apocalypse?
Is the world ending?
Is something happening?
Yeah.
And they were nowhere else. They were just in our cherry blossom tree in our backyard. And I know that was everybody celebrating Roman's birthday that year and just telling us keep going, another huge milestone. Like,
I remember you sent a video of it from your iPhone.
Yes.
And it was loud. There were so many. And I'm at Jace's house all the time. And I can attest to the fact that has never happened.
Not once. Yeah. And yes, that's my point. They're unique experiences that you've never experienced before. And even if you're not a spiritual person, it's like, you can't deny stuff like that. Right. And Charlie is just like, what? And now cranes follow Charlie around everywhere. It's hilarious. Like, he sends me pictures all the time. There was like one in our neighbor's bird bath, like right by his office. And I was like, what? The crane can't fit there. I get a little selfie
popping up on a shrubbery.
Hi, it's me again. But he'll just like send me a selfie with this crane. Just like, here it is. But it's one of the coolest things ever. When obviously my son's diagnosis was devastating for 100 different ways, but it's like this veil was lifted.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, just because of the trauma and the prayer and the trust and everything that happened as a result of it, the floodgates opened up. And I am forever grateful because it's the thing that got me through some of my darkest days. Yeah. Tell us about the eagle.
So for me, eagles have a strong connection. Primarily when my dad passed away at his funeral, the traditional On Eagle's Wings was sung. My dad, I forgot, but he had a picture of an eagle in his office.
Oh, wow.
And for whatever reason, I was so young, I don't remember why, but there's an eagle on his tombstone as well. So it's connected with him. And afterwards, I remember my aunt telling me stories about these weird experiences with eagles. The first one I really had myself was on my wedding day, and I didn't see it, but my aunt told me what happened. Our church had these huge windows along the back that overlooked this lake. And right when I started walking down the aisle, she saw an eagle go right past the church windows, make a loop, come back around, fly by the windows again, and then fly off. So that was the first time that I had any connection with it.
I have so many goosebumps right now.
I know, it was so cool. And then fast forward to when I'm pregnant with my first.
Yes.
And it was at the end of my pregnancy. She was a week overdue. I was trying everything to just get this baby out of me. And so I was going on all these walks, and I started noticing that on my walk, all of a sudden there was one eagle that was circling above me, but followed me almost my entire walk. I went down through a different park.
It was it was literally following you.
It felt like it was following and just swirling in circles in the whole time. So then I kept seeing that, and I just always was reminded of, I just felt like that's my dad letting me know he's with me. This is a big life moment, and he's still here. And then after my brother passed, what was so cool, he died in January, and the spring that I went out for the first walk of springtime with my girls that year. And this time we were on a walk, and instead of seeing one eagle, I had two.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Rach.
I know. And we went to the park, and same thing. They were circling, and it just was so profound. And I've had so many odd eagle experiences, you guys. I rounded the corner one morning on a walk with my dog, and there was an eagle sitting in the middle of the road.
What?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that? No.
No.
Just sitting. And it sat there. I thought it was wild turkey. I have it on video because I was like, oh my God, Murphy's going to freak out. What is going on? Because they're big,
They look like dinosaurs.
Yes.
And they're walking around.
Sitting there. And then I realized it flew away. I was like, oh my God, that was an eagle. And then another time, Ryan and I were out, and an eagle came and perched up on this hill that was maybe 30 feet from us and just spread its wings and sat there airing its wings out.
Right. It's like, this isn't just seeing an eagle in the sky.
Yes.
It's like, I am going to be doing something. It's either you see them in places that you shouldn't normally see them.
Yeah.
They're doing things that they wouldn't normally do.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely unexpected. And that is the deliberate, this is a message.
And then with Candace, she has said the eagle is a spirit animal for me personally, along with that. And then I had another person, a separate person, who was doing something with cards, like animal cards. And of course, she pulled the eagle, and I just about fell over. So it's just like you with the crane.
Oh my gosh. That reminds me. In the early days, we had there were cards, and it was like a guessing game. And you could describe an animal, and your child had to guess what it was. Roman pulled a card, and I had to ask questions. I was asking questions. It was the very first card he pulled. It was a white crane. Like, I literally was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like,
For one following me down the highway to a work meeting, I looked up on my sunroof, and I was like, no. Literally just followed me on the highway. I'm like, where are you going? There's no ponds around here. Yeah, I'm on the highway. Like, it's like that. That is unbelievable. But I love how they show up in unique ways, like pulling the eagle card, sitting there and being like, do you see me? Yeah. I'm doing something unique. So you guys, like,
watch, ask and watch and have fun.
And watch and have fun. Yes, it's the most fun. This was awesome.
It was.
I loved it. Okay, so for the resource guide this week, because I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
We did. So for the resource guide this week, what we're going to do is you can take the test, like we said last week, take those results, and now we're going to create a little document for you so that you can actually figure out how to open up, get balanced, and allow this energy to flow within you. So we're going to list each chakra on a document and then give you tangible ways to actually help
balance that one.
Balance it. Yeah.
That's super helpful.
So find whichever one you need and use that as a little cheat sheet and a starting point.
I'm excited. I hope your recommendation for an overactive throat chakra isn't like duct tape. Like, try that first. You guys, thanks so much for joining and listening and laughing along with us. We had so much fun talking about emotions and chakras. If today's episode was helpful, please pass it along to your friends and community. Rachel and I are trying hard to grow our community. I mean, we're so excited about what we're doing here, and we're so passionate about it, but we can't do it without you. We can't do it without the word spreading. So please pass it along. And as always, if you thought this was helpful, please give us a positive rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Spirit Outspoken. Have a beautiful, blessed week, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode. If you're ready to take your spirituality to the next level, be sure to check out our website, spiritoutspoken.com. There you can download free educational resources, read our latest blog posts, and join the Spirit Outspoken community.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Spirit Outspoken to stay up to date on news, happenings, shenanigans, and all things Spirit Outspoken.